Loneliness isn't merely a melancholic feeling. It is a profound neurological event, a biochemical chisel actively sculpting your brain, literally eroding vital neural connections. Its invisible touch doesn't just reshape your mood, it reconfigures the very architecture of your mind. A silent, persistent siege against your most critical cognitive functions begins. Your brain, once a bustling metropolis of connections, starts to wither under its relentless assault. Today, we will uncover precisely how prolonged social disconnection triggers a cascade of cellular changes within your neural networks, attacking your hippocampus and fundamentally reshaping your cognitive landscape, revealing why human connection is not just a comfort, but a biological imperative. The scientific mechanism begins with a deeply ingrained biological alarm system. When you experience chronic social isolation, your brain perceives this as a severe threat, much like a physical danger or a shortage of essential resources. This isn't a metaphor, it's a hardwired survival response. Your body's stress axis, known as the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal or HPA axis, springs into action. This intricate communication system between your brain and adrenal glands starts pumping out stress hormones, primarily cortisol, in sustained, elevated quantities. Think of cortisol as a chemical messenger designed for short-term crises, a burst of energy to flee a predator, for instance. But when this chemical alarm rings continuously, its beneficial effects turn detrimental. Imagine your brain cells, your neurons, as delicate garden plants. Under normal conditions, they thrive with regular nourishment and interaction, forming vibrant networks. Now, picture a steady drip of corrosive acid landing on these plants. That's what chronic elevated cortisol does to your brain. It initiates a process called neuroinflammation. Microglia, the brain's immune cells, which are normally peacekeepers, become hyperactive and aggressive. They start pruning away synapses, the crucial communication points between neurons, not just the weak ones, but healthy ones too. This destructive pruning is particularly acute in the hippocampus, a seahorse-shaped structure deep within your temporal lobe. This tiny yet mighty region is the very engine of new memory formation and spatial navigation. Research by Spring, Demas, Atkins, Richardson, and Rittenhouse in 2020, published in Nature Communications, revealed significant alterations in the brain's default mode network connectivity in lonely individuals, including reduced functional connectivity with hippocampal regions, highlighting a neurological signature of social isolation. The hippocampus begins to atrophy, meaning it literally shrinks. Its cells become less responsive. New neuron growth, a process called neurogenesis, dramatically slows down. What does this mean for your everyday experience? It means the very foundation of your ability to learn new information, to consolidate short-term memories into lasting ones, and even to orient yourself in your environment begins to fray. The erosion isn't just a feeling, it's a physical, measurable decline in your brain's structural integrity, setting the stage for profound changes in how you perceive and interact with the world. This silent war within your skull makes your brain profoundly vulnerable to misinterpretation and withdrawal, fundamentally altering your perception of reality itself. It's a vicious cycle. This neurobiological siege doesn't just sit there dormant. It actively hijacks your behavior, transforming how you navigate your entire social landscape. Before understanding this mechanism, you might see someone who is persistently withdrawn or overly distrustful as simply having a difficult personality. But after, you realize they might be reacting from a brain under immense, invisible duress. Consider this. When your hippocampus is under attack and your stress hormones are constantly elevated, your brain's default threat assessment system becomes hyperactive. You start perceiving neutral or even friendly social cues as potentially threatening. A casual glance from a stranger on the street, which most people would dismiss, might be interpreted by a lonely brain as suspicion or judgment. An unanswered text before this neurobiological insight might feel like a minor inconvenience. Afterwards, you see it as a searing confirmation of your unworthiness, triggering a cascade of despair and self-protective withdrawal. Your neural pathways, constantly on guard, make you incredibly sensitive to perceived rejection, even when no rejection is intended. Let's illustrate with a stark before and after scenario. Imagine Sarah, before she understood the neurobiology of loneliness. When her friends made plans without her, she felt a pang of sadness, sure, but she'd rationalize it, telling herself they were busy. She'd then reach out, making efforts to reconnect. Now, after prolonged periods of social isolation, her brain has begun to adapt to this state of perceived threat. Her amygdala, the brain's alarm center, is on overdrive. When she sees her friends' social media posts showing an outing she wasn't invited to, her brain immediately floods with stress hormones. It's not just sadness anymore, it's a profound sense of betrayal and rejection. Her brain interprets this absence not as an oversight, but as definitive proof that she is unwanted, unvalued. This isn't a conscious choice, it's a neurochemically driven reaction. Her memory, impacted by hippocampal atrophy, might selectively recall only instances of perceived social slights, reinforcing her belief that others are always leaving her out. This bias makes her less likely to initiate contact, less likely to accept invitations, thus perpetuating the very isolation that caused the neural damage in the first place. This heightened sensitivity to social pain is so profound that your brain literally processes it in the same regions as physical pain. A seminal study by Eisenberger, Lieberman, and Williams in 2003, published in Science, used fMRI to show that the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, a brain region involved in the affective component of physical pain, was activated when participants experienced social exclusion. This means that the sting of a perceived snub isn't just an emotional hurt, it's registered by your brain as if you've been physically struck. No wonder it feels so debilitating. This constant state of heightened alert, coupled with the erosion of hippocampal function, impairs your executive functions. Your ability to make sound decisions, to regulate your emotions, and to plan effectively diminishes. You might find yourself struggling to concentrate, feeling mentally foggy, and experiencing inexplicable surges of irritability or profound sadness. This isn't a character flaw, it's the direct consequence of a brain under sustained silent attack. The revelation is that what you once dismissed as mere feelings or personality quirks are in fact tangible, measurable neurological adaptations, making it incredibly difficult for the lonely brain to break free from its isolating patterns. Have you ever dismissed someone's withdrawal as simply being antisocial without considering the invisible battle waging within their mind? Understanding this neurobiological vulnerability fundamentally reshapes your approach to connection. This knowledge empowers you with practical strategies to interrupt the cycle of brain decay. Here are 3 specific ways to apply this insight in your daily life. First, cultivate micro moments of authentic connection. You don't need to orchestrate grand social gatherings or forge dozens of new friendships to combat the neurobiological effects of loneliness. Instead, focus on genuine, brief interactions. For example, when you're at a coffee shop, instead of silently waiting for your order, make eye contact with the barista and offer a sincere compliment about their art, or genuinely ask how their day is going. If you're walking your dog, exchange a few words with another dog owner. The goal is not to become best friends, but to create tiny, reciprocal social exchanges that signal to your brain that you are seen, that you are connected, that you exist within a social fabric. These small, positive interactions release oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which helps counteract the corrosive effects of cortisol. The expected outcome is a gradual reduction in your brain's threat response and a subtle strengthening of neural pathways associated with social reward, slowly rebuilding trust and openness. Second, reframe your periods of solitude into intentional, restorative introspection. Loneliness is the painful absence of desired connection. Solitude is the chosen state of being alone. Your brain desperately needs downtime, but the lonely brain interprets this downtime as further abandonment. The key is to consciously shift your internal narrative. Instead of passively enduring alone time, actively dedicate it to self-care, creative pursuits, or mindful reflection. For instance, set aside 20 minutes each day to sit quietly, without digital distractions, and simply observe your thoughts and feelings, or engage in a hobby you truly enjoy. This isn't about ignoring the need for connection, but about telling your brain, I am choosing this moment for myself, and I am safe. This proactive approach helps to calm the overactive amygdala and reinforces a sense of self-sufficiency. The expected outcome is a reduction in anxiety during solitary moments and a strengthening of the prefrontal cortex's ability to regulate emotional responses, making you less susceptible to the negative rumination that often accompanies loneliness. Third, engage in purpose-driven altruism. Extending yourself to help others, especially those you might not know well, is a powerful antidote to the brain's isolation-driven stress. Volunteer your time for a cause you care about, offer assistance to a neighbor, or simply perform random acts of kindness. For example, hold a door open for someone and offer a warm smile, or help a colleague with a task without being asked. These actions trigger a feedback loop of positive social interaction and purpose. When you help others, your brain releases neurochemicals like dopamine and serotonin, creating a sense of reward and well-being. More importantly, it shifts your focus outward, away from self-preoccupation and the internal narrative of loneliness. The expected outcome is a reinforcement of neural pathways associated with empathy and pro-social behavior, helping to build new, healthy social bonds and actively counteracting the neuroinflammation caused by chronic stress. You see, the common misconception that willpower alone can overcome the deep-seated impact of isolation on the brain simply ignores the profound biochemical shifts at play. Understanding the direct physical impact of loneliness on the brain fundamentally transforms how you view yourself and everyone around you. You no longer simply interpret a person's withdrawal as a sign of being unfriendly or socially awkward. Instead, you gain a profound empathy, recognizing that their hesitant glance, their difficulty engaging, or their struggles with trust might be echoes of a brain under siege, fighting a silent, destructive battle against its own internal architecture. You realize that what appears on the surface as personality traits can often be the neurological consequences of prolonged disconnection. This shifts your self-perception too. When you feel that familiar pang of isolation, you can now recognize it not just as an emotion, but as a critical biological signal, a warning light indicating that your neural health is at risk. It's no longer a personal failing, but a profound neuroscientific truth. Your brain needs connection to thrive, just as much as it needs oxygen or nutrients. This knowledge empowers you to move beyond self-blame, fostering self-compassion and motivating you to proactively seek out those restorative micro-connections. You begin to understand that fostering human bonds isn't merely about happiness. It's about protecting your cognitive integrity, safeguarding your memory, and preserving the very essence of your ability to learn and adapt. You see yourself and every human being as a complex, vulnerable, and astonishing neural network, intricately woven into the tapestry of collective experience. Consider for a moment the subtle ways this understanding could alter your next interaction, your next interpretation of someone's behavior. The incredible insights we have just uncovered about the brain's vulnerability to social isolation aren't just fascinating, they are a direct call to action, a mandate to prioritize genuine human connection as a cornerstone of neurological vitality. This isn't about avoiding a mere feeling. It's about actively fortifying the very foundations of your cognitive self. Your brain is an adaptive marvel, capable of both profound decay and astonishing resilience. The choice to engage, to connect, to simply be present with another living consciousness is a profound act of neurobiological self-preservation. Continue to explore these intricate landscapes of the mind, because what we will unravel next promises to be an even more essential key to understanding the extraordinary power you hold over your own mental destiny.